Hello and welcome to another video. This will probably be a short one. I'm just going to show you something that I did on a Twitch stream recently to give you some kind of update of the game engine. So what I did was I implemented this go back button. So this is basically just a button that takes you back to the previous view. And yeah, I'm talking about the graphical user interface here, not the actual core game engine, but so let me show it to you. I just implemented it. So if I go into like another view here, let's say I go into the actor editor, you'll see this back button here. And if I click it, I will go back. So it's a really simple thing that I added. But you know, I haven't been working on this I haven't been working on my game engine or the graphical user interface in a very long time. So I just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update here. It's a very simple thing. But yeah, it works pretty good. And yeah, I'm going to redesign the button though, because I don't really like the design of it right now. And another thing I added was actually, because I have this component system in the graphical user interface, and it has some algorithms to like re-justify the positions and stuff of all the attached components. So yeah, I talked about this in a previous video, but so I added one of those component panes to the title bar here actually. So basically, if I go into the scenebase.c, you can see that I added this component pane title bar. And if we re-enable the background on it, we can actually see it being rendered. So now you can see it's completely white up here because the component pane is being rendered. So yeah. Let's see if that button is visible while the background is being rendered actually. Yeah, it is. Okay. So yeah, I'm not completely done with the back button. I'm going to redesign it. As I said, I don't really like the graphics of it. So what I'm thinking, like where the button is, first of all, I'm going to disable these lines around the button so that it gets more attention, sort of. And we'll see how I do that. Maybe I write some code that will disable the lines, because you can't add more buttons here, so maybe I'll make some sort of algorithm that disables the lines where there are buttons, basically. Because right now the button is just rendered above the lines. Oh, another thing I implemented in the graphical user interface library is actually for buttons to be sprite only. So I added this flag here, only sprite. It's 0 by default, and you can actually attach a sprite to a button now, and you can say that it's only going to be a sprite. So actually the go back button, this one, is actually the same. It's an instance of one of these buttons, but I have disabled the default styling on it, basically. So that's another feature that I added. I added so that buttons can be only sprites, basically. They can't be both though right now, but I might implement that later. They are either one of these buttons or they are a sprite button, but maybe you want to have a sprite inside a normal button, so we'll see if I add it. And of course you can still go back using the escape key. Pressing this button here is basically doing the same thing as the escape key. So yeah. Is there anything else to say here? I think that covered most of it. But yeah, I made a pull request here actually. It's closed now, but I made this add back button pull request. You can actually see here exactly what I did. yeah, and as always, I will put the link to the source code in the description if someone is interested to look at it. But yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been working on the game engine or the graphical user interface in a very long time. I have been mostly focusing on Hermes, as you have seen on my recent uploads. There's been a lot of Hermes uploads lately. But I'm hoping to get back into this, to the game engine development soon. But yeah, adding this back button has been something I've been wanting to do for a long time, so I thought I'd do it. And that would sort of be a nice way for me to get started again, because I haven't touched this code in a very long time, and it's actually sort of difficult to... Currently, it's sort of difficult to add new stuff because I'm sort of unfamiliar with the code, because it was so a long time ago that I was involved with it, you know. But yeah, we're getting there, and yeah, I actually created an issue for make the go back button prettier. So if anyone wanna contribute to an open source project, feel free to make a pull request. So yeah. Yeah, there's some other issues here as well, you know. It doesn't compile on Mac OS X. This is a big one. Rendering starts glitches if you resize the window. I think this bug might be fixed. Be able to modify RGB values in Sprite Editor manually. Oh, that's a nice thing. Create good splash screen. Built-in text editor for script snippets. This one should actually be closed because this is fixed. We have a text editor. I can actually show it to you. I think I have showed it to you. Text editor. Yeah, here it is. So yeah, it has a text editor, so that issue can be closed. Well, that's it. Just a little small update for you, and even though it was very small and it's a very short video, I hope you enjoyed it. And you know, feel free to make pull requests to my stuff if you want to. Just fun to collaborate. Alright, another thing I actually added, forgot to mention it. When you boot up the, my camera is going to be disabled for a bit now, but when you boot up the application, it actually collects the vendor, the renderer, and the OpenGL version now, so that you can see it. So at the moment when I booted it up, I was using the Intel graphics driver here, or I mean the Intel graphics software renderer on my computer, and it's using the Mesa driver. But it actually does support, for example, the NVIDIA driver as well. So if I do opti run, like, no, wrong. Like that. Now it's being rendered using NVIDIA. And if I quit it, we can see here that vendor, NVIDIA Corporation, renderer GeForce, blah, blah, blah. It's a sort of old computer, so it's not a very good graphics card, actually. And it's the OpenGL version 3.3.0, NVIDIA 418.74. And this was something that I actually added to the core engine. So if we go into the main.c, we can see here that it collects them here, and prints it. So it's just some nice information when booting up the application. And the reason why I added that was because I was debugging some graphics card stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna keep these prints. You know, someday I'm gonna have some sort of cleaning session where I remove unnecessary prints and stuff. But yeah. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.